All right. Again, my name is Scott Correll, and I work with the City of Charlotte. And I was actually one of the people who led the effort to apply for our walk-friendly community designation. And so, through that application process, it's pretty. I feel like it was a pretty straightforward process. In Charlotte, we're fortunate in Charlotte because we have a lot of resources available to us. So when in actually applying for the process, we have most of the data that we were looking for we actually had in-house. So we were pretty fortunate in that respect. And we're also pretty fortunate in that we have a lot of processes and policies already in place that actually supported our effort to become a walk-friendly city. And so in applying for this, for the designation, it involved a lot of interdepartmental and interagency coordination because it's not just the city. There's initiatives going on with the county through what we call there's a Status of Seniors initiative, and there's greenway trails that the city doesn't control, but we worked with those agencies to collect their data and to talk about the good things that they have going on too. And I think that really helped make our application a little stronger. And so what I want to do, I just want to talk about some of the things that helped Charlotte that I think helped make our application strong. And in Charlotte, one of the key things for us is that, as this quote says, Charlotte will become the premier city in the nation for integrating land use and transportation choices. And that's pretty key for the city because that helps guide a lot of our policies and practices within CDOT and within other agencies in the city. And so you can see that on the little map that I threw on here, this is what's called our Centers, Corridors, and Wedges growth framework. And so this is actually the basic map that helps guide all of the growth in the city of Charlotte. And so and what that involves is the centers are the blue areas, and those are usually commercial nodes, and so what we want to do is concentrate our development, our more intense development there, and try to increase our street grid and increase the infrastructure in those areas. Because Charlotte is such a geographically large city, it's going to be very difficult to make the entire city completely walkable. So what we want to do is try to focus our most intense land uses and mixed uses in these areas. And then you also have the corridors, which are the purple areas, and those are really those are going to be the transit corridors over time. And so if you look towards the south, that's our South Corridor light rail, and that's already in place. And we've already seen significant reinvestment along that corridor, almost $2 billion worth of reinvestment into new land, new mixed-use development along that corridor. And so it's been huge from a transformation standpoint and in helping to make Charlotte more walkable. And so what we want to do is do that on the remainder of the other 5 corridors. And in fact, the northeast corridor is already under design, and we hope to have that up and running within 7 or 8 years. And the Transportation Action Plan is probably one of our key documents that's going to help implement that. The Transportation Action Plan is actually Charlotte's first transportation plan, which was I think we adopted that in 2006, and we just updated it this year. And that includes policies that guide everything that I do, everything that Melissa does, and Ken, and it includes policies actually it includes measures for the installation of everything from bike lanes to sidewalks to other pedestrian facilities, installing larger cross sign or street signs and more pedestrian crossing signals and things like that. And so through that, we were able to adopt the urban street design guidelines. And so in Charlotte, the urban street design guidelines are a huge document. So I won't get into all the details, but through the urban street, through the USDG, the city, we get a lot of new sidewalks installed through private sector development, through subdivision processes and rezonings and redevelopment. And the city, it also guides how we build our sidewalk retrofit projects, which is really one of our more challenging day-to-day activities. I don't know how many of you are involved with that, but it's, people have varying opinion. The general public has varying opinions about sidewalks, and so that's very challenging. And then, anytime we build a new street or we widen a street, we always include sidewalks, and so that's one of the key things that's helping us build our sidewalk network. And one of our biggest challenges is our deficiency in our sidewalk network. We have about 2,000 miles of streets without sidewalks, but most of those are non-thoroughfare. I'd say the thoroughfare mileage is a little bit less than that, but I don't have the figure right off the top of my head. But so anyway, so through these documents, we're able, in the sidewalk retrofit policy, we're able to prioritize the areas that are not yet built and hopefully get them built over time. And one of the other strong points, I think, is our pedestrian crossing committee. And this is not just an infrastructure-based group. It's a group of experts within CDOT and we get together once a month and we talk about places where we've heard that there's issues with people trying to get across the street. And because Charlotte has so many thoroughfares, a lot of our crossing requests are transit-based, and people trying to get across these 4-lane undivided streets that we have, and we've got tons of miles of these streets, and so that proves to be a big challenge for our residents. And that's in order to become a more walk-friendly city, we're going to have to step it up a notch and try to address those problems, because we want people to be able to walk to work and take the bus to work if that's what's most convenient for them. So through the application, and I think one of the biggest benefits for us in filling out the application is that it really helped us get our thoughts together, because we have all these policies and documents and all that stuff is great, but we hadn't really organized it into one document before. And so it really helped us get our thoughts together and get organized and identify all the policies and projects and everything that we have that would impact pedestrians. And what we're going to do is use the feedback we got from this application to actually work on a pedestrian plan. And this is something that we've been talking about doing for a while, but we just haven't gotten there yet. But I think through the feedback and through the organization that we had to go through to get the application done, I think that really helped us get our ducks in a row, and I think that's going to help us in the future in establishing a good framework to actually create a pedestrian plan. So with that, that's all I have to say, but if anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.